Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
Ships at sea.
and all the ships at sea.
That's right.
Welcome to another edition of the Bill Crane Report. My friend Dwayne Weiss is with me as usual. And today is D-Day, 6th of June.
75 years ago.
75 years ago. And we're going to spend some time talking about D-Day. Maybe there's some things that we can help you with that you haven't thought about. But I think it's amazing in reading some of the statistics
It is.
that people just simply don't know
No,
their history. We're not teaching it.
I don't think
It's
it's scary.
it is pathetic.
It's pathetic, too.
Yeah.
But the young people today, particularly, and the young people, you know a lot of things that we don't know. But you also don't know a lot of your history and why you are here today and why we are what we are.
Yeah. And
We owe a lot of people a lot of debt.
we sure do. And by gosh, we're going to talk about that.
Good.
So lead off,
Okay.
my man.
75 years ago today, there was a lot of things going on. It involved one of the largest amphibious landing on the beaches that the world had ever seen, and probably with the state of the art of combat today, it'll never be seen again because
Absolutely
it's just
right.
not done that way anymore. But before they were loaded on the ships, Eisenhower gave him a little speech. His broadcast, it was sent out, they gave it out in pamphlets, they broadcast over the radios and stuff, just sort of this is what we're going to do. And he said, in essence, you are about to embark upon the great crusade towards which we have striven for these many months. The eyes of the world are on you. The hope and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, battle-hardened, and he will fight savagely. But this is the year, 1944. The tide is turned. Free men of the world are marching together in victory. I have full confidence in your courage, devotion to duty, and skill in battle. We will accept nothing except full victory. Good luck. Let us all beseech the blessing of Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking. Dwight D. Eisenhower, Supreme Allied Commander, June 6th, 1944.
Well said.
This was such a great undertaking. It involved 156,000 troops, composed of U.S., Canada, France, some of the Free French, Norway, and some of the other allied nations. Now, just think of 156,000 people being moved by ship, basically, most of them. What the logistics of that is, it's mind-boggling.
Can you imagine just in the harbor
Yeah,
with 6,600 ships?
Yep.
And by the
Unbelievable.
way, the figures bounce around a little bit. I've seen as high as 190,000 men
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but-
landed that first day.
Yeah, because they said, well, by the 11th, there was 326,000
There
already
you
had
go.
been landed.
Yeah. And 20,000 vehicles.
Yeah. Oh, my God, yes.
It's unbelievable. And one other thing Eisenhower said in a separate set of remarks to a separate bunch of GIs, I take full responsibility for this. If anything goes wrong, it is on me.
Yeah, well, he had a speech ready
Yeah.
in case this thing failed.
Right.
And that's what he said.
Yeah.
I am responsible. I take total blame for the failure of this operation.
Little
Fortunately,
different,
you didn't have to use it.
little different than politicians. Huh?
Oh, yeah, not me. Him. But,
I think as a military man and as a human being, I think we tend to really underestimate Dwight Eisenhower.
oh, I do too.
You know,
He was a great statistician, a great strategic leader.
And the guys respected him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
And was quite an athlete, quite a baseball player.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So,
Didn't he come from Kansas?
yeah.
Yeah, someplace in the middle. Did you
Yep.
ever notice that a lot of the, particularly Navy guys, they will come from the dead center of the country? It's like, my uncle was a perfect example. He graduated from high school in 1944. 5 days after his high school graduation, he was already in Great Lakes Naval training in Chicago. This guy had never seen the ocean in his life. Hell, he never
Wow.
saw Lake Superior or Lake Michigan. He never saw a body of water big and a block wide. But what did he want to do? He wanted to go in the Navy.
Wow.
He ended up in the Battle of Okinawa
Ooh.
on the USS Bunker Hill. That's where they got hit by one of the kamikazes.
Yeah.
There's some horror stories of that thing. But he said a lot of people were Midwesterners or people from Arizona or New Mexico. They're the ones that gravitated toward the Navy.
You know, Okinawa was a bloody battle.
Oh, that's horrible.
Horrible. I believe there's 25,000 casualties. And you know, some people say, look, why couldn't we have just gone around it? Because Okinawa was the closest we could get to Japan.
Actually, it was one of their islands.
Exactly. On the southern side of that whole chain. And we had B-29 bombers.
Yep, that's right.
Now we could hit Japan.
Yep.
And we did.
Yeah.
That was an important island for us to take. You could argue, there's a couple of others you could argue about, you know, but no, we had to take that one.
But the D-Day or Normandy, that was the turning point. That's when the ground forces actually started to win the war.
Absolutely. No question. Now, because the Pacific and the Atlantic, Europe and the Far East were two totally different campaigns. Totally different.
Fought different. The equipment was different.
Oh, and how about the landscape?
Oh my God! Yeah.
Malaria City, USA, out there. You know, that's something we rarely talk about. Is the Pacific War.
Yeah, you see some of it, but you don't see the.
But you and I rarely talk about it.
No, we don't either.
No, I gravitate towards the European War, and you know why? We're European Americans.
That's right.
Yeah,
And we're more familiar with the battlegrounds.
absolutely.
You start listing off some of these islands, and the first thing, like myself, I go, "Where is
Yeah,
that?
Peleliu.
Where is that?"
One of the bloodiest battles
Yep.
fought. But where is it? Yeah, about the size of 2 football fields.
Yeah, and it was the attrition rate and the casualty rate and these things per square mile was hard.
You know, on opening morning on D-Day, we took 10,000 casualties.
Yep.
Now, also, and these figures don't jive, but I have a different set of figures that said we lost 4,500 Allied troops. Well, if that's the case, we had a lot more than 10,000 casualties.
Yeah. See, I got this one came from American Legion magazine.
Yeah.
And everything you get, their stats are a little different.
Yep.
Because it's who accumulated it. But does it really matter? This one says 12,000 casualties.
Yeah, and the thing I have here, the events where 10,000 were killed or wounded. So
you don't know.
We don't know. We absolutely don't know. And it's who's keeping the stats, you know? Well, you got the Brits involved, you got the Canadians involved, and how many wounded did you have? I don't know, and blah, 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 and it goes on like that. All we know is it was a very ambitious undertaking, a fantastic undertaking, and it was the turning point.
Yep. And that
Was.
You know, as we sit here right now, they're about 6 hours ahead of us.
Yeah.
It was just late in the afternoon, early evening. Still going on.
Oh, yeah.
That's 75 years from now. You think we would put ourselves right in the middle of it if we were there.
Yeah, yeah. It is.
You see those films where those Higgins, or were they Higgins boats?
Yeah.
They come in and they drop that front landing
Plywood.
gear. Yeah. Basically, that's what they were. They had a steel front across
Yeah.
that front, and then after that, but when they dropped those particularly the first ones out, when they dropped that ramp down, and sometimes those boats, the machine gun fire came right in,
Bingo.
eliminated the whole boat.
It did. And it's funny too. Oh, not funny, but it's ironic, I guess. We really fooled Hitler.
Oh yeah, he fell for it.
Hook, line, and sinker.
Yep.
On the third day, he was still waiting for the
Yeah.
main beachhead.
They were going to land at Calais.
They're not going to fool me.
Oh no,
I get.
this
I'm all lined up.
this is a ruse.
Yeah. And von Rundstedt was telling him, this is the real thing down here, and he wouldn't hear of it.
Well, that's why, because over the years, as the war went on, the Brits wanted to assassinate Hitler. Eisenhower says, no, leave him be, because he's the total control of the German and the Nazis. And as long as he's in charge, he's totally incompetent.
Yeah. Or at the very least, he's all over the place with his thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Very
And,
unorganized and very. But they said they've got some very capable generals. If we get rid of Hitler, we're going to have some guys in charge that know what they're doing.
von Rundstedt.
That's right.
You take a look at Rommel. Mm-hmm. You've got some smart guys. Ketel.
Yep.
Yodel. By the way, Yodel really got a bum rap when they hung him at Nuremberg. But that's another story for another day. So anyway, we hit Normandy beaches
Yep.
with an enormous amount of ordnance.
Yep. Some effective and some not so
Yep.
effective.
But
And they're like anything in combat. Combat is a very well planned, planned out operation, not a impromptu firefight. It's a well planned operation, right down to the logistics and the timing and everything else. And as soon as I've seen this over and over again, as soon as the shooting starts, the plans all go out the window.
well,
Everything turns chaotic.
some fog rolled in.
Yeah.
So our airborne jumped in the wrong places.
Yep.
Now they had to fight their way back to the coast
Yep,
rather
exactly.
than go inland. They had to go back and support the landing troops. But how do you predict fall?
You don't.
You don't. You deal with it. That's all you can do.
And you think today, well, why couldn't they still do what they want to do, particularly airborne stuff? Well, you got to remember, in those days, as you know, there was no GPS. Everything was visual. When they drop paratroopers or airborne troops, as they're called today, out of that plane, they've got to have a visual of where they're going to land, because otherwise it's just suicide. When a bomber drops a bombs today, a bombing, for example, he bombs off a GPS grid coordinates. He doesn't care what the hell a landmark looks like down there. He can drop those bombs from 35,000 feet through 5 miles of clouds. It doesn't matter.
Remember the huge advantage we had with the bomb site?
Norton bomb
The
site.
Norton bomb
Yep.
site.
Boy, that
bomb
thing
site.
was so secret and so well guarded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was our advantage.
That's right.
And prior to that bomb site, folks, guess what? They were looking out the windows. Hey, let some go.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
That's how bombing runs were.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Norton was actually by today's standards, very crude computer.
Oh, sure.
It would compute height, altitude, speed, forward speed, ground speed, air speed, crosswinds, and all the other variables. And it kind of came up with an idea. All right,
Guess.
yeah, it still was guessing. We got to drop right here to get here.
Yeah.
But it was better than, like you said, looking out the window.
Yeah. Charlie, drop them now.
Yeah, throw it out, Charlie.
But and not only that, talk about smart airplanes today too. They were running DC-3s, and they were running. Then they got up to the that's where they're dropping the paratroopers out of. But then, of course, the B-17 bombers.
Flying Fortress.
Oh, the Flying Fortress. Woof.
That the DC-3s, I think the military call them CH-7s, yeah, or
Yeah.
C-47s, I guess.
A lot of transport,
Yeah.
and that's what our boys jumped out of.
I flew one time in an old DC-3 that had been a C-47 from St. Louis Airport to Lake of the Ozarks. This was a historic aircraft. Had a plaque in there. It carried Stalin and Churchill to the Potsdam? The
Potsdam.
Potsdam Conference.
Wow.
It's the same. It was a plaque that this was the airplane they went on.
Holy cow.
I had never been on a thing like an old DC-3 before.
Right.
And the guy said, the pilot, he says, if it's too warm back there, just open the window. And the window's kind of just pulled up like that and hooked up. Well, anyway, these things were just, they throw oil. They just go spew oil all over them engines, too. In fact, when they started the engine, there was a guy outside, and each side he'd do one on motor than the other engine with a fire extinguisher, because it was not unusual for him to catch that oil on fire.
The oil bath.
Well, it so happened, this was going to a sales meeting. It so happened that when the president came in, his plane caught on fire when they were starting it.
Perfect.
And he crapped out. We got to the meeting, and he said, whatever charging me, you get some buses here. I will not let these guys fly on them rickety old beat-up things back to St. Louis.
What he was really saying was, I ain't going
getting
on
on them things again. I thought it was kind of fun, actually. You know, it was rough, loud, shaky. They vibrate all over the place.
You know, not long before I retired, I had a flight from Providence to Chicago, connecting through Pittsburgh. And it was on U.S. Airways. And it was a step back in town.
Oh, yeah.
I went to Pittsburgh on a 707. Now, that had to be the last 707 flying. I never saw one in an airport. And I'm on this thing, noisy. But I got to Pittsburgh, and the connection, as the good Lord is my judge, was a DC-8.
Oh, okay, good.
The same thing as the 707, except McDonnell Douglas built it.
Yep.
And I said to myself, what are my chances of ever flying on those two planes again? And I did them both in the same day. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable. There's a lot of stories in the paper today, but there's kind of a good one here in the Herald. And it's a compilation of years gone by of quotations by World War II vets that went through D-Day.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Norman Drapo of Holyoke. Before we left the harbor, they said, half of you will not be alive tomorrow. We didn't say nothing. We looked at the guy next to us and we said, too bad, man.
Yeah, see you around. That was the attitude. It's still the attitude today in combat. You never go into a firefight thinking, I'm going to get shot.
We're cowboys.
Once in a while, somebody says, I'm not comfortable about this. We're always really comfortable. But you never think that you're going to be the one.
Your number is coming up, yeah.
If you would, what sane man would go in, or a sane person would go into a firefight?
Exactly. As a Navy petty officer, Drapo piloted a landing craft to Omaha Beach 12 times under German fire before his boat struck a mine.
Yep.
12 times
That
in
was a
one of
trip
those
back and
landing
forth.
crafts.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
Wow.
A lot of those coxmen and stuff in the boats were Coast Guardmen.
Yeah, yeah,
They got assigned that duty a lot.
yeah. The gravy train's over. Get
Yeah.
over there. William Ulwick of Abington served in the Navy as an apprentice seaman. He told the Herald in 2008 that fighting in the D-Day invasion was his duty as an American. We were all, most of us, we were all for going. We enlisted. And he said of himself and his fellow sailors, I just thought I had done my duty. I thought I'd just get on with it. And he died in 2010. James Gabbery of Newburyport, who fought on D-Day with the Army's 5th Ranger Battalion.
Oh yeah, those are the ones that
Rappelled
climbed up the
ropes.
cliff. Oh.
Said he was thrilled to be remembered. I've had a happy life. I'm not a hero, but a patriot. American, and nobody owes, a patriotic American, and nobody owes me anything. All I can say is God bless America. You know, I would say that is probably the predominant feeling among the veterans.
Oh yeah, it was.
I went with all my friends, everybody in my age group. We all went. We all did it. I'm no better than the other guys.
Yeah, everybody. There was a central purpose in everything they did on that. Unlike today, you can't get that kind of a camaraderie or centralization of effort today.
It is the last time this country was united.
That's right.
Berg Avadian of Waltham was a 25-year-old paratrooper, a sergeant with 2 jumps and 5 months of fighting in Italy behind him as the plane approached Normandy before dawn. There were a lot of younger guys, just boys, going in for the first time. I tried to cheer them up. I said, hey, I wonder how the Red Sox are doing. I bet they're getting beat. 60 years later, I'm still waiting for them to win, he told the Herald in 2004. Robert Murphy of Boston said he was only 19 when he was one of the first Americans to parachute into Normandy on D-Day. I remember these young men, and when I go back to the cemeteries, I even talk to them and tell them how I'm doing, that I haven't forgotten them. I can remember these young men as they were. I can remember their faces and some of the things we would do. These memories all come back to me during a visit to the cemetery.
I bet it does.
And camaraderie is a great word.
Yeah.
We had it.
Oh, we did.
Those days.
It's sobering to think about all this stuff that's going on, and that I don't think we'll ever have that kind of united front again.
No,
I just don't believe it.
No. Donald Van Roosen of Newton, who enlisted as a Harvard sophomore, was a private when he waded ashore on Omaha Beach with the 29th Infantry Division. By war's end, he was a lieutenant.
Yep.
Everything I saw was on such a grand scale that I knew it would never happen again. Carnage on such a scale. 5 miles of land covered in corpses, he told the Herald. That 2 or 3 hours that it took us to get off the beach, we saw an aspect of war in world history that hopefully won't have to be repeated.
Yep.
And friends, if you've not thought about this, let me help you with something. There was a movie made, Saving Private Ryan.
If that doesn't move you, you're made out of stone.
The World War II vets that have seen that movie have said that is exactly what it was like on D-Day. The realism is phenomenal.
Yep.
And I saw it in the theater with surround sound.
I did too.
And they fired the sound up.
Yep. Do you know when that thing was over, I couldn't get up and walk out?
No.
I just sat there for a while.
I saw World War II vets crying.
Yeah, I had tears.
Me too. Absolutely.
The other night, there was one they've been running, I think it's History and National Geographic, and that whole group's been running stuff all week. I know you're seeing this a little later, but if you happen to catch it, it's really well done. It's all running all week. But they had a comment last night about first experience, and this guy's on the beach, and he said it's late in the afternoon, towards evening, and he said he was a PFC, and they just gave him some corporal stripes. And he's on the beach, and this lieutenant comes up, and he says, "Where's your commanding officer?" And he said, he told him, I said, "I don't know, sir." "What do you mean you don't know? Who's in charge?" And he says, "I guess I am." "Well, why are you in charge?" He says, "Because there's only 8 of us left." He says, "The rest are all dead." He says, the lieutenant turned around, walked down the beach. We never saw him again. We don't know what. He wasn't going to get involved with us, apparently.
There's enough of that.
Yeah.
But, friends, if you haven't seen Saving Private Ryan.
Absolutely. Make a point on it. It's on every so often.
Yeah, and you can find it on demand.
Yeah, exactly.
Watch it, please. And you know what? If all you can stand is the first half hour,
Yeah.
okay. The rest of it is a little soap opera within a soap opera, within a combat scene. The first 30 minutes will change you forever.
It's probably one of the most realistic combat firefight shoot 'em up that I've ever seen.
Yeah. Oh, no question.
And it's nothing like that old John Wayne stuff, you know. Yeah, this is blood and guts and grit and grime and misery.
Guy gets his arm blown off and stops running and goes back and picks his arm up and carries it. You know? And those are all true things that happened.
That's right. The producers or the director took incidences of real experiences, put them back into the cinematography of it, and they filmed it with handheld cameras, not these set things that look like Hollywood studio things.
So that you could say like you were running, bouncing
exactly.
along and all that. Oh, yeah. It was brilliant.
Mm-hmm. It was.
Brilliant, yeah. No question about it. And you know, it's the kind of thing that should be shown in school.
Oh, I think so too. It never will.
8th grade on up, perhaps.
Yeah.
But, I can hear the liberals screaming now. We can't have that.
Can't have that.
Unbelievable. By the way.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
And I don't know if there's so many stories out there that why is D-Day called D-Day? And I'll tell you what we learned in the Army.
D-Day is the day of action.
Exactly right. That's what, and some people say, we used to say, well, it's Doomsday or it's this day. It's not. What the military told us is that when these strategic plannings are being done, and that these things are immense, and they take sometimes a year, there's A, B, C, and D. A is when they sit down and write it all on a paper, and I'm not sure exactly what's happening. B is another.
They weren't either.
B is the next phase of it. C is the next phase where all things start to come together. And D-Day is actually the day that they execute it.
And the military, I believe, is about as squared away as it gets.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
And how do you track that? Do you keep referring to June 6th? No. Leading up to it, it's D-5.
Yeah.
D-4. Yeah. And then the invasion is D-Day.
Plus.
And the following day is D-Day +1.
Yep.
And so on. By the way, Charles Schulz, the cartoonist that is beloved for his Peanuts columns.
Has he passed away, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Big hockey fan.
Yep.
Yeah. He his family, whoever owns the rights to all the Peanuts, they're still running. They're still great.
Oh yeah. Oh, they'll go for
But
years.
this one appears every day on D-Day, the same panel, and it shows the beach at Normandy, and it shows Snoopy with the helmet on, wading through the water.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yep. It's a great cartoon. And it's a great statement, is what it is. Now, I get upset about this. America is innately good.
Yes.
Think about this, folks. I wish to heck I had a big map here. The Nazi Germany organization had Europe. Lock, stock, and barrel.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, they did.
Spain, Portugal, Great Britain, Switzerland. No. But the rest of it, right under Hitler's thumb.
Yep.
And then, on that borderline, the Russians were on the other side. So almost the entire European landmass was under the thumb of bad and badder.
Yep, it was.
Now, the English held out. God love them.
And that irritated Hitler to no end.
Oh, it did. It did.
He wanted that island of England just so bad.
And so we, together with the English, and there were a couple of other folks helping us, but boy, oh boy, it was the English and the Americans, Canadians, Aussies,
Yep.
that pitched in and invaded Europe to free all those countries. And I wish I had a map and could show you every one of those countries we liberated with our blood and our treasure. We finally did it.
Sometimes not with no appreciation on their part afterwards.
Exactly.
De Gaulle and France didn't. The more we did for them, the less they liked us.
Yeah. Oh, he was PO'd about everything.
Oh yeah.
Mostly that he wasn't in charge.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. But, friends, for those of you that don't know your history, what do you suppose we did when the job was complete? Well,
I know.
we didn't rape and pillage
Nope. Like
the
the
people
Russians
we
did.
conquered.
Like the Russians
like
did.
the Russians. No. We rebuilt Europe.
Rebuilt them to our own detriment.
Yes.
We rebuilt Japan and Germany steel business with brand new, state-of-the-art Bessemer fires and burners at that time. I guess it were the furnaces they were called. We were using stuff that was 100 years old.
Oh, yeah.
We built brand new 40s, that wasn't in the 40s, state-of-the-art stuff for them. And what happened? They took our steel business away.
Well, I'll tell you, our heart overpowered our brain a little bit.
Sometimes,
there
yeah.
But what we did was, to my mind, the most wonderful thing we could have done. And
Oh, yeah.
The Japanese, to this day, love us and appreciate us.
Exactly. Yep.
The Germans, well, they're getting more like the French.
Yeah.
They resent us. But every time we talk about pulling troops out of Germany, no, we don't want you to do that.
Then we'd have to do it ourselves.
Yeah. And they are among the lowest payers in the NATO group.
Yep.
I think it's around 1.4. They're supposed to be paying 2% of GDP. They're around 1.4, and they've said they're not going to pay any more than that. That's nice. Angela Merkel has done a pretty good job single-handedly of destroying Germany.
Oh, yeah,
I'll tell you.
absolutely.
But anyway, to travel on here a little bit, we picked them back up and stood them on their feet. Now, tell me again, all the moaning and groaning and pure hatred that is now focused on the American white male. Talk to me about that. And then finally, when you're done honestly contemplating that, take a walk through the U.S. cemeteries in Europe and read the names of those brave young men who died freeing Europe. Read their names. O'Brien, Murphy, Sullivan, Hayes, Davis, Holmes, Walden, Martin, Santori, Carlucci, Bertuzzi, Carlo, and on and on and on. Bender, Mertz, Cohen, Stein. Yes, folks, it is young American, European American white males that are lying in those graves. Those bones are. Their souls are in the arms of our loving God. They paid the ultimate price, their lives, when our nation and much of the world called out to be saved from the evil of the Axis forces. And for you folks that had just been educated in the last 20 or 25 years, the Axis powers were Germany, Italy, and Japan. That's when history was re-engineered and rewritten by those who have recast our heroes of the greatest generation and made them into evil, terrible people portrayed in the news every day. The white Euro-American male that saved the world.
That's right.
And that's the truth, folks. We owe them one hell of a debt. So, and now let's have a quick flash into a story that's in the Globe. Veterans Memorial is vandalized again. Yeah.
Oh my God.
There's people in Boston going to cemeteries and vandalizing veterans memorials. They don't get it. Well, I'd like to talk to them.
Yeah, give me 20 minutes.
Yeah. Boston Mayor Marty Walsh called the vandalism a cowardly act. We'll continue to work with all our partners to restore this memorial to the veterans who sacrificed all for our country. That's Marty. Near that monument, on Thursday evening, graffiti could be seen on 3 stones. A swastika was scrawled on one. Sad.
It is.
It is. And you know what? I don't understand why they don't have cameras set up and personnel in the cemeteries and catch these no good scumbags.
Yeah. And I'd like to see things like this have a special classification in our legal system.
This is hate crime.
Well, I was going to say, we put something called a hate crime that we can, now we seem to put that tag on everything that we want to put it on.
Yeah.
But we don't do anything like this. If they get caught, it's just destruction of public property.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's all they do.
And you know what happens?
Oh, yeah, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
maybe 20 days at Bridgewater for evaluation.
More than likely,
Then
they get
nothing
a little
happens.
community service and a lecture.
I want to start off next time with that. So, skipping around here, folks, Bernie Sanders is outraged.
You know, Bernie Sanders is trying to fly. You ever watch him? I said to my wife, I said, when is he going to learn? He can't fly, but yet he talks and he goes like this.
He's beautiful. He was outraged the other day. He was yelling and screaming and spitting.
He's a nutcase.
Do you realize that the president of Walmart makes $1,000 more than an entry-level employee? Well, you know what? Probably does. And he's probably 1,000 times more productive than an entry-level worker, and adds a lot more than 1,000 times in value to his company than an entry-level worker.
And Bernie kind of forgets. One day, he was talking about millionaires and billionaires, and somebody reminded Mr. Sanders, Senator Sanders, you are a millionaire. You were a multi-millionaire. He got madder than hell.
Oh,
Well,
if you wrote a book, too.
You'd be a millionaire
Yeah.
too, and just close the subject.
Ah, he's beautiful. Now, I got to ask you this one. Pete Rose was on TV yesterday.
Okay, I
And
have some opinions on
a
Pete.
great hitter,
Yeah, it was.
a great fielder,
Yep.
and Charlie Hustle. He was talking about how lucky he was. Do you realize, and I didn't realize this, that he was born in Cincinnati?
No, I didn't know that.
3 miles
From
from the ballpark. He said, how lucky can one man be
yep.
to play 3 miles from home? And you know, I have said this before, I'll say it again. He belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
And the argument that, well, he gambled on the outcome of ball games, not his own, but
know.
other teams. Well, gee whiz.
Yep.
Do you know, I bet you there's quite a few ball players that on their off days used to go to the racetracks, but they weren't really screwing things up.
No.
And not only that, well, not that long ago, but anyway, I'm stepping on my own lines here.
Okay.
But it's not so much that he gambled on betting and sporting events. It's that he lied about it. That is what is sticking in people's craws. Okay? Well,
Right.
if that is how we're going to judge people, let's take a look at a previous president as he was shepherding the Affordable Care Act through Congress to saddle it on the American people, and the lies that were told by him and his underlings.
You could keep your own doctor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you like your doctor,
Don't worry.
keep your doctor.
You keep him.
Unbelievable. No, I tell you what.
Now, if you judged whether somebody lied, particularly in somebody that's in the public eye, there wouldn't be anybody left.
No.
You couldn't find one that.
That's
hadn't. It goes with the office, and no matter how self-righteous and self-sorry they say they are, they're really not. They're still human beings, and they'll deny until they got caught, and then they'll blame somebody else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, the devil made me do it.
The devil made me do it,
Oh,
yeah.
my aide should have filled me in on that.
I didn't know anything about
misspoke.
it, yep.
I need to talk that
Yep.
back. Yeah. I know. Well, here's a lovely, lovely story yesterday.
Oh, are we gonna?
The taxi driver.
Oh, there's a guy that I'm really sorry that we don't have the death penalty for.
Yes, indeed. You're absolutely right. And I want to get to that again. I'm going to skip ahead to that.
Okay, go ahead.
But so anyway, folks, a 60-year-old cab driver has 5 kids,
5 kids.
and he's been putting them all through college, or has put them through college.
4 of them already. I
4 of
think
them
graduated.
already. This guy comes up and says, I want you to get rolling right now. Take me to Mansfield. And he says, I don't go to Mansfield.
Yep. This is downtown. You
Downtown
probably saw it,
Boston.
right next to the Colonnade Hotel.
Yep. So he pulled the gun out
Yeah.
and killed him.
Shoots them. But they don't stop there.
Nope.
This is where it just gets
Yeah.
bizarre and disgusting.
He drives, he hops in the driver's seat of the taxi cab, drives a few blocks, pulls over, takes his shoes off, and did something else stupid while he waited for the cops.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing, but before that, He drags the cabbie out of his cab. He's laying on the ground, shoots him 8 or 9 more times to make sure he didn't just wound him. He wanted to annihilate him. He was raging, apparently.
You know, you're absolutely right. The death penalty is exactly where this one should end up. And I've got something else in here, and if I can find it real quick, it's a great segue into it. And it's a bill has been introduced. Ta-da! Bill seeks death for cop killers. Officers are under attack. What do you think of that?
I got no problem with that.
Yeah.
The only thing I got problem with the death penalty, and it's not that it's a moral issue, is that sometimes it's too easy. I don't think he should be able to do some hideous, horrendous, non-human type thing to some other individual and then get convicted and you get sentenced to death and they give you a shot so you go to sleep. I think you should have some trauma involved here.
Or you sit around for 23 years.
Yeah.
And justice delayed is justice denied as far as I'm concerned. You know what? Military had it the right way.
Yep.
Okay, guilty, firing squad. That's it.
That's it.
And your attorney has one chance for an appeal. Let's hear it, attorney. Blah, 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 blah.
I know this is going to sound, but if you get life imprisoned, it should be life in prison with hard labor.
Bingo.
Not sent to a prison someplace where you got TV and you got this and you got recreation, you got classes and you got everything else. The only difference in that and being out is that you can't walk out. But you're still enjoying the fruits of life here.
Yep. That's it. You still get to get 3 squares a day and watch TV and have access to the library and all that stuff, yeah.
But I like the idea of hard labor if you're going to incarcerate them.
Yep, I agree. Marty Walsh, when Encore, the new casino in Boston, wanted to go from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. serving booze, Marty said, too early for 4 a.m. last call. No, can't do that. So the Liquor Council, or the whatever the board is, approved the 4 a.m. So the heck with Marty. What's your feeling on that?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't think it makes a damn bit of difference. You go to Vegas and they serve all night.
I know.
They're not going crazy. They're not going to have murder in the streets and rioting and everything else. But
Driving afterwards is
driving
the thing.
after is another
And
thing.
in Las Vegas, so much of what goes on after 4 a.m., you walk to your
walk to
hotel.
where you're going to go.
Yeah. And there ain't no way you're going to walk around Everett.
And you can't go there just to drink. You got to play.
That's right.
So that's going to curtail the rough drunks for whatever for the younger crowd that goes in there just to get loaded. And trust me, they didn't say it was going to be free. And I know damn well that this Encore stuff is hotel, and I'm a gambler. I know that is not going to be a cheap date. That's going to. They are going. Right now, they're looking to charge $28 for under 6 hours and $42 of parking fee over 6 hours.
Oh, hello.
Hello, yeah. So you're looking rooms probably $300 or $400 here too a night.
Yeah,
So.
and I'd be willing to bet you it'll be tougher to get a comp in there.
Oh yeah,
than
you
some of
want
the other
to
places.
believe it.
So tell me something, Dwayne. Is there a more inept group of people that's ever been assembled than this casino commission?
Nope, never in the history of mankind have we put more nincompoops in charge.
Yeah.
In fact, I think we've mentioned this before. The original guy that was head of it, I forgot his name, Sullivan? I'm not sure. He made the statement right after he got appointed. Well, I've never been to a casino. Perhaps I should go to Connecticut and see what they're all about. This is the man they appointed to head the gaming commission.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Good Lord!
Only in Massachusetts
Why
could
didn't you?
they do
Why
this.
didn't you pick some nun at St. Francis's school there to
That's
run
right.
it?
Why don't you
You
get
might be better. She played bingo.
Why don't you get a 14-year-old?
A 14-year-old,
yeah.
better than what you picked.
Unbelievable. And then you see in the paper, encore this, encore that, encore this. Gee, I mean, with a board of, to borrow your term, nincompoops, I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
No, I don't know.
Jeepers creepers.
And they're just so arrogant about it, too. And they want to punish Wynn Resorts. And they want to have the president or the CEO take special ethics courses.
Yeah.
Well, good Lord, that's the pot calling the kettle black. Remember, we're a state from Whitey Bulger and Flaherty and
You name it.
all the other crooks that we've had here. And we are so much more ethically involved and run than anybody else in the world.
And we have a state police that
They're
is
just
totally
corrupt from
out of control.
top to bottom.
Yep, rotten from
Yep.
up there to down there. Unbelievable. By the way, this may surprise you, but I don't favor the bill for death for cop killers.
Okay.
I favor a bill that is capital punishment for all killers,
Okay, yeah,
a certain threshold.
yeah.
Because you know what? A family man with 4 kids is working
That's
2
right.
jobs is just as dead as a cop.
Yeah.
And I understand why we need to go the extra mile for protecting the police, but also we need a level playing field. All right. 5 dogs euthanized after teenager mauled to death in Dighton.
So unnecessary.
Yeah. You know, people buy dogs, and God love them. I like dogs.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd like to have a dog, but I just don't. Right now, I'm not ready to
Lifestyles,
start
yeah.
putting up with
Yeah,
taking them out at night to
Yeah,
go to the bathroom
all
and
that
stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, Roker is a perfect example.
He's a nice little dog,
He
yeah.
is a nice dog. If I could find a Roker, I think I'd probably bring him home right now.
Oh yeah.
But some people should not have dogs.
No,
And-
oh, absolutely, they shouldn't have dogs.
And to allow a teenager to be handling 5 tough, big dogs.
Yep.
Big mistake. Big mistake. I really and truly, I feel very, very bad for that kid's family. And I hope they get a good lawyer, and I hope they clean this guy out.
Yep.
'Cause that's the only way, it seems, as though we're ever going to get situation strength when somebody starts digging in your pocket and taking your money.
Yeah. Some people don't understand anything else.
I want to hold off on this one and this one. Oh boy, here's one that really drives me crazy. 5 nursing homes in South Coast closing. So we got 5 nursing homes, New Bedford, Fall River, and Dighton, that are being closed. Now, of all the things that we subsidize in this stupid state, we're allowing nursing homes that can't make a profit, can't stay in business, to fold their cards and go away.
Yeah, because
So what are we going to do with the elderly?
good question, but you know what it is again? It doesn't affect me. The people that are in charge saying, "I'm not old.
That's
I'm
right.
I'm not disabled. It doesn't affect me."
Yeah. I don't live in Fall River or Dighton. The hell with them.
But little do they know,
They're going to get old someday.
Bill, I found out we get old, and we get old fast,
Too fast.
too fast.
Yeah. This is something that
Bill.
to me is reprehensible.
Yep.
All right? Of all the things that we throw money at in this state,
Yep.
I absolutely cannot contain myself with the schools. All right? We want more money. Oh, okay, here's another bucket load
take
for
it.
you. Yeah, hey, here's some more. Nobody says, what are you going to do with it?
No. Oh, you're not even supposed to question it.
No, I know it, yeah.
There was a time on our books you could not question the school budget.
Yeah. I know. That's absolutely incredible. But yet, nursing homes that take care of the elderly are going out of business because they can't make it. Now, there's a combination of state regulations, federal regulations, pay, and all of that. But if they are taking care of the elderly, throw a few bucks their way, just like you do every time the bloody school system wants to install a workout center for 4-year-olds. Oh, yeah, throw the money at them. Well, here you go. We don't do a good job with the elderly in this country.
don't.
And I'll tell you, the bozos that are in charge are getting older. And they're going to realize it.
Oh, yeah. But see, again, it's I'm not part of it.
That's it.
Yep.
I don't have a dog in that fight.
As soon as your ox is being gored, it'll be a whole different story.
Altogether different. Folks, on that lovely note,
As we usually end up.
we must bid you adieu. But do, please, keep us on your dance card and come see us again in a couple of weeks.
Like us or hate us, come back.
And when in doubt, send money.
That's right.
So, on that note, good night, folks.
Bye-bye.